Okay. All right, good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Just to be sure you're in the right place, I will share that this is the session for the Economics Department at the College of New Jersey. Chances are you're joining us because you've been accepted to the department, or perhaps you've been accepted as undeclared and you're considering economics as a potential major. Everyone is totally welcome to listen and to ask questions. My name is Tammy Dietrich. I'm the Assistant Dean for the School of Business. I've been with the school for about 12 years, but I'm joined tonight by the Chair of Economics, as well as a current student and an alum, which isn't that impressive? A year later, we have an alum just ready to jump right on. If it's your first time using Zoom, I'd like to draw your attention to the chat box. If you move your cursor towards the bottom of the screen, you'll see chat, or maybe it's already popped up on your right-hand side. When you type questions, make sure you're typing them to everyone. That way we all see your questions, because we probably share some of the same topics that we're interested in hearing about. And we'll make sure that we get to every question that's asked. So jump in at any time, and we'll be monitoring that chat box. But without further ado, I'm going to pass this over to the chair for the Economics Department, who is Dr. Samantha. So good evening, Dr. Samantha.
Okay, good evening, everyone. This is Dr. Subarna Samantha. I'm the chair of the Economics Department. So today I'm going to talk briefly about the economics program that our college offers. And I will be assisted by two of my able students, one of the former student, his name is Nicholas Agresci, and one current student, Katie Toai. Okay, so first what I plan to do, I want to go with you, it's a simple statistic. So can you see my screen? That's my question.
Yes.
Okay. So if you look at here, I'm giving the simple statistics. It is basically a paper, or I should say article published in New York Times 2 years ago. So it tells you that what is the top 1% earners measured in. So they look at different measures. So look at the pre-med, they look at the economics, biochemistry, geology, and in that order. So basically pre-med, medical school, and the next is economics. So what they've done, they look at the Census Bureau's data for 2010 and look at that one. So this is the percentage for economics. Out of the economics major, 8.2% are in the top 1% earner. Okay, and among all 1% earner, 5.4% is economics major. So you understand the statistics and look at the other major. Health and medical, they have 11.8. Biochemical science 7.2, geology 6.9. So if you can go down this way. So you can see from here, the economics major has a good prospectus or prospect for earning quite a good amount of money in future. Okay, so that is about the job, or I should say earning profile for the economics major. Let me go over to our economics program. So I'm going to open simple file. Our economics program has essentially two main programs. One is called BS in economics and other one is BA in economics. So BS in economics, you should have 10 courses in economics, 8 courses in accounting and other areas. And BA in economics are 12 courses in economics and language requirement and other thing. Okay, if you can get all the information if you go to our department website. This is the website. You can see from here. business.tcnj.edu, academics and economics, it has all the information. So first, let's look at what is the BA in economics. So BA in economics, you can see that it basically gives a broad liberal arts program. So you can take liberal learning courses and other courses so that you can probably do graduate study in economics, law, public administration, and other areas. And we have similarly called BS in economics. Let me go back. That's the BS in economics. So this is basically that you get a degree in economics, but with other business areas like accounting, finance, management, and marketing. So typically, most of the students, those who do the BS in economics, they basically go to job market immediately. And for the BS student, they basically postpone going to the job market. They might go to the graduate school or law school, and after that, they might enter the job market. Okay, so next I want to show you a simple thing, what the economics graduate type of job they get. So basically they get the jobs in banking and finance, insurance, government, business administration, communication and media, teaching and consulting, like those type of job. Okay, if you have any question in the meantime, don't hesitate to ask me. And also, as I've said that, about 36% of the student, they have basically have gone to graduate school. And most common choice is the law, with graduate in both local and nationally ranked school like Rutgers, New York, Rutgers, Camden, Seton Hall, to Duke, Virginia, Michigan, Penn, Washington, all those things. They also do what is called, I'm going to go back here. I see this is the one I'm missing that part here. Okay, they also do MBA, PhD, and MA in economics later on. Okay, so, one of the major, I should say, the part of our program is that we have this very concentration, or I should say very significant concentration in the statistics part, because students have to take 3 or 4 classes of statistics. So those are basically business statistics, introductory statistics, econometrics, and other courses. And those courses, along with the computer programming, help them to get a good training in quantitative analysis. And that basically helps them to get a good job. Okay, apart from the academic courses, we have other challenges for the student here also. For example, those challenges are the student may take different courses if they want. We have special topics courses like game theory, sports economics, public policy, etc. We have students organization in our school. We have economics club. Economics club students, they basically engage in different activities, just like guest speaker. They can visit different places. Sometimes when I was chair in, I think a couple of years ago, I took the students to Princeton University for listening to some of the economics discussion there. So a student does those things. Then we have also Economics Honor Society. And economics department has distinguished speaker series. So we have so far taken Paul Krugman, Alan Blinder, Subramanian Swamy. They have come to our school to give a speech. So this semester, actually, we have planned to get Greg Mankiw to come here. But you know that because of social distancing, that has been postponed. So he might come in the next semester. And I'm planning to get Glenn Howard also in the following year. And after that, I'll show you another interesting part. What are the resources and academic other challenges? We have research resources in our department. Economics student can be working as a research assistant. So typically every year we have about between 5 to 10 research assistant. As a research assistant, they basically assist the faculty members to do their research by collecting the data, managing the data, manipulating the data, and also maybe in some extent do the what I should say that they can also survey the literature. So those type of things they can do. And also you have something called Muse program. Muse basically mentored undergraduate scholarly endeavor. So this basically happen every summer. So every summer 1 or 2 students, they get the Muse scholarship. And in the scholarship, they get the summer, I think they get a certain amount of money, and plus they can stay in the campus to do the research. And they can also get assist from the other faculty for doing other type of work also. In addition to that, you have something called College Fed Challenge. College Fed Challenge basically means that you have a group of 6 or 7 students. They go through intensive lessons for appropriate monetary policy formulation. And after the lesson and the training, they have to go in front of the Federal Reserve officials and to have to make the presentation. And typically we compete in the 2nd district of the Federal Reserve in the Philadelphia. So about close to between 19 or 20 schools they compete. So sometimes we rank probably 2 or 3 or 4 in that range, because most of the time we have basically either University of Princeton or maybe I think Lafayette, and those schools, they basically most of the time they win. Okay, apart from College Fed Challenge, you have another thing called Daniel R. Hall Award. So Daniel R. Hall was one of the faculty member. He was a chair also. So in this award, we basically encourage the student to do what is called that extracurricular activities. Then we also have something called Daniel R. Hall Social Justice Scholarship. So in this case, we offer students some financial assistance for many academic endeavors. Then we also have Dean Thomas B. Breslin Memorial Fund. And in this fund, we offer students for assistance for research activities. Okay, and as I've said that our students are heavily engaged in research. So what they do, they take 2 courses. So one is called Economics 494 Senior Thesis Preparation. and the second is called 495, senior thesis in economics. So they basically make a preparation for the thesis, and then they write the thesis. For example, our current student, Katie Twice, she's now in the class Economics 495, and she's basically writing her thesis right now. And typically after finishing the thesis, what they have to do, they have to go each year, every student completing the thesis, they have to go to Arsinus College, and there's something called Undergraduate Research Conference in Business and Economics, sponsored by Omicron Delta Epsilon. This basically happens in mid-April, so they have to go there and have to present their senior thesis there. And after that, they have to come to our college, and they have to make a presentation here. Typically, what happened that, not every year, but maybe every other year, I usually take 2 or 3 students to take their senior thesis and the research work to make presentation in front of what is called Eastern Economic Association. So last year, I took a student called Josh Patel and 2 other students. They came with me, they went to New York, and they presented their thesis there. And Josh's paper was very highly appreciated, and actually it got published immediately last year. Okay, I can look at some of the student publication with the faculty member. You see that we have quite a few. If you go down further, you can say, if you go to a department website, you will find all the listing there also. So that's the one. Let me see if I can go down further. Can I go down? No, I cannot go down. Okay. After that, I want to show you another interesting thing. What is the economics career path for a student? Okay, I want to show you one more thing. What is the courses they take typically? Let me open that one. Okay, for the economic BA, this is the typical courses they take. So they have to take, this is economics 210, history of economic thought, applies business statistics. Okay, this is the, they have to take calculus class, the statistics 1, they take the another statistics course here, then take econometrics. They have to take typically, I think for BA student, they take about 12 courses in economics. And this is the sequence of courses they're supposed to take. For every semester, freshman, sophomore, junior, and the senior, the courses they will be taking, basically that will be, that is decided already, and you will follow through that one. So let me close this one here, and I can go for the BA student also in this case.
Dr. Samantha?
Yes.
We had a question that said, how far in math do we need to complete for the BA economics? And I think you going over that last BA in economics check sheet.
Yes. Okay. Typically, okay, for the BA in economics student, they take only one what's called that mathematics calculus class. That's required. But you remember that statistics also mathematics class. But again, it depends on what you'll be doing after graduation. If you want to go to graduate school in the economics, then we advise them to take more mathematics classes. Typically, maybe you take the integral calculus, maybe differential equations, maybe linear algebra, and other courses there also. But if you do not want to go to graduate school economics, then one calculus class is enough for us, okay? Okay, this is for the BS students. For the BS student, you can see that the courses they take. They take accounting courses, 2 accounting courses. They take 2 finance courses, 2 management courses, and they take 2 marketing courses, and they take something called IST course, that is basically computer science courses. So these are the typical courses for the BS students. And after that, I want to go over very briefly what is the typical career path for the student. So this is basically for the recent data. Okay, for the economic student, typically what we do, or what I have done recently, that every fall semester, I typically take a special day, what is called Career Information Day. It typically happens probably middle of November. I think it happens 4th November last year. So on that day, I invite quite a few of my graduate students, I should say former students, and some of my colleagues, and some of my other colleagues who are basically employed gainfully, or they're doing business. So I ask them to come and make a presentation and give some advice to the student what they're going to do after the graduation. Okay, so if you look at the typical our economics major, what they've done since 2001, 37% student basically they have done to graduate school. Okay, but graduate school, they go to law school, medical school, economics PhD program, MBA program, and the public policy program. And the economics graduate, they basically enroll in both local as well as the ranked school. The laws, actually, we can see that part. I think I talked about that before. So economics PhD program, they have gone to different schools, Pittsburgh, Johns Hopkins, Rutgers, Temple, MA in economics, they have gone to Boston. Public policy, they went to Georgetown, Carnegie Mellon, Rutgers. MBA, they have gone to New York University, Indiana, and other places. So medical school student, they have gone, okay, we have 7-year medical program. So they've gone there also. And less common graduate school choice, math PhD. Okay, we have one student who did the PhD in math, economics graduate, marketing PhD, dental school, and MS in human resources. And if you look at our recent, our student also do their internship. The recent internship sample is there, Merrill Lynch, Governor's Office, Princeton Regional Chamber of Commerce, Aetna, Johnson & Johnson, okay, Shishame Place, and 5W Public Relations. And if you go to our recent employer, these are the recent employers, Bank of America, ESPN, Johnson & Johnson, Goldman & Sachs, Merrill Lynch, Appraisal Economics, Management Planning, okay, and you can see all those things here. So this is typically in a very briefly speaking our economics program, what courses that we offer, and what type of training that we offer to the student, and what type of job they typically get. Okay, I will now ask my student, Nick and Katie, if they can add something here, and Nick can talk about his own experience also here. Good evening, Nick. You can join me now.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Dr. Samantha, for that introduction. I appreciate that. And I would just first like to start off by saying to all of you, congratulations on your acceptance to the College of New Jersey. You should be very proud of your acceptance. It's a very rigorous application process and a very competitive school in general, but also the business school is even especially competitive. So really congratulations to all of you. And I hope that today you can really extract some value in your decision, because today is really an exciting time where the next 4 years of your life, you're going to be exposed to so many different learning opportunities and facets of life that you've never been experienced before. So as Dr. Samantha mentioned, I graduated last May in 2019. So I'm approaching 1 year out. So I'm not too old and washed up yet, but I'm still happy to talk about the economics program. And I will invite you to ask your questions while I'm speaking. And even later on, I have the question group chat up right here, so I can be happy to address them. So I am graduated. I currently work at KPMG's New York office. KPMG is a Big Four accounting firm similar to PwC, Deloitte, and Ernst & Young. I work in their economic and valuation services group, which is a lot of, it's a consultancy group. I'm an associate consultant. We do a lot of work that's similar, really in nature to what you would see in equity research and financial services, right? So with that being said, I would just like to talk a little bit why I chose the economics program and how it's really been pivotal in getting me to where I am today. So an interesting fact about myself is that I actually came into the College of New Jersey as a finance major. So my first year at TCNJ, I was in the finance program, and I interned after my first year at a company called BASF. They're a chemical firm in Florham Park, New Jersey, but they're multinational in nature. And I was very fortunate to work alongside people in the corporate development group, which are essentially internal investment bankers. And they really taught me, one thing that stuck out to me is that people who are very high up in that position emphasize that people who really succeed in business are those who understand not only the full picture, the big picture of business, but have the technical skills that are able to drill down and really solve these complex problems, not losing sight of the bigger picture, right? So with that being said, I was really inspired to come back my second year and to sort of adjust my degree. I went from being in the finance program to being an economics major in the BS track, so the Bachelor of Science, which is more business oriented. And what I did was I actually designed my own finance sort of curriculum concentration within that econ program. And the reason I was able to do that is because I came in with a lot of AP credits. So if you're coming in with AP credits, it's definitely something to think about, having an econ program concentrated in finance. So what that means is I took 11 econ classes and 9 finance classes and 2 accounting classes. But really the benefit in doing that is that it really helped me to understand the complexities and intricacies of markets and how businesses interact with those markets. You think as our school, we have maybe 200 to 300 finance graduates every year, right? But maybe for econ, we have about 30. When you're applying to jobs, right, we have a great career center, and that's really a fundamental strength of our School of Business. But it's also a scarce resource, because think how many resumes come in that are finance major. But you'd be amazed at how incredible it is to have an economics degree concentrated in finance, and that's your cornerstone. So you can study, if you're interested in business and the more technical side and not the BA program like I was, you can study another discipline through the lens and perspective of econ, and that can really go so far. After BASF, I interned at PVH. They own Calvin Klein and Tommy Hilfiger. The summer after, I interned at JP Morgan in the corporate banking space, but I decided that it wasn't quite for me at the time, so I went into a consulting capacity at KPMG. And since then, I use the skill sets that I learned in Dr. Samantha's econometrics class pretty much on a daily basis. That's no joke. We do a lot of quantitative consulting, and every day I count my blessings for being a student at TCNJ, because it gave me the opportunity to succeed in my career, and I know that it'll pay dividends moving forward. So really grateful for that. So that's my introduction. I'd like to let Katya speak more on the student side of all of this, but I'm still, again, happy to answer any questions along the way. So please let me know. Thank you.
Thanks, Nick. Hi, everyone. Congratulations. I know you're even more excited than I am for you. So my name is Katya. I am a senior economics major. I also have a minor in Arabic. So a little bit about my internship experience. So after my freshman year, I interned with UNICEF. So I was an intern with United Nations doing basically data analysis. And they asked me to come back again the next summer. So I interned 2 summers there. And then last summer, I interned with a former governor doing policy analysis and research assistant work. At TCNJ, I was a research assistant for interim Dean Levin. We did a study on federal direct investment and immigration. I'm also a peer mentor for the business school. So if you guys decide to come in, you'll be greeted with a business major who's going to help integrate you into the business school. And Tammy would know a lot about that because she runs it. I've also was a competitor in the Federal Reserve Challenge that Dr. Samantha spoke about, where we use the concepts we learned in monetary policy for a competition. And it's one of the most amazing experiences because you're getting that real world application. So upon graduation in May, I will be going to DC as an economic consultant. So basically what I would be doing there is providing expert testimony to litigation cases in antitrust, intellectual property, and employment cases. I think, if I could tell you guys one thing, my favorite thing about TCNJ Economics program is that we kind of truly are a family. I could probably tell you most of the economics students in my grade off the top of my hand. So we are very close knit. You know all your professors. It comes in great for letters of recommendations. When I got my job offer, one of my professors was helping me write my negotiation emails. So it's a very close relationship that something truly valuable throughout your life for career advice and all sorts of things. So I'm happy to answer any questions you have. Congratulations again. And we're very excited to have you.
Okay, let me add one couple of things also here. As a BA in economics, you can also dual major. So typically we have seen that students, they major in economics and statistics, economics and mathematics. For example, the student who did PhD in mathematics, he was dual major. He has a major in economics and major in mathematics. And I have also seen students have done dual major BA in economics and BS in other School of Business discipline. So you can do that also. So, but if you really want to be challenged, you can do the dual major.
I'm just looking at the group chat here. So as for the double major with economics and history, that's definitely possible. It's a very common course work because it overlaps. So you'll be able to double count courses in that. Nick, a question towards you about getting an internship freshman summer.
Yeah, thank you, Katya. You know, this is really something within the last few years that we've seen more and more frequently. I would say my freshman year, it was not the most common occurrence, right? But every year progressively, we've seen a lot more students coming right into college, right out of the gate, being very eager to acquire an internship. And I'm here to tell you, to debunk the myth, it is 100% possible to get an internship freshman year. We see a lot of students to date, and that's really one of the core competencies of our School of Business is the degree of alumni connections we have. I mean, just me speaking right now is a demonstration of that fact because I'm an alumni. My company recruits heavily on TCNJ's campus, so that in and there embodies the fact that internships are quintessential throughout your 4 years, right? But it's absolutely possible your freshman year. My post-freshman year internship in particular really set my path, I think, into where I am today. And truthfully, I got that internship just by applying nonstop online. So you think about it, you come in maybe like August, right? September, you start classes. And that's really when the internship window opens up. And I think there's nothing more impressive from an employer, especially now that I'm on the employer side and not the college side. There's nothing more impressive than seeing that initiative from your freshman year. So definitely, if you have something in mind, come into college with a resume. We have a lot of great resources, including our Business 099 and Business 100 classes that are peer mentors, and including that's run by Tammy here, which is great, where we help you guide you through the resume building process. And so yes, it's difficult, but it's definitely possible, and don't let that discourage you.
I also did the internship after my freshman year, and we have a resume center at TCNJ that's available to you as soon as you start. So come in with whatever you have, and they'll make it work. They'll work on your cover letter. I think most people are just intimidated, so you're not competing against many freshmen, so you're ready standing up. As for majoring in BS or BA, I am a bachelor's of science, and I think, Nick, you are too, I believe?
Yeah, I was a BS in econ, and I built my own finance concentration. If anyone wants to know more about that, I don't want to ramble on about it, but you could definitely.
Okay, I can tell you that in the School of Business, you cannot do the dual major as the BS student. You can do a BA in economics and BS in finance. You can do that way.
Right.
Or you can do BA in economics, BA in history, BA in economics, BS in mathematics. You can do that way also.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Sorry, Katya, go ahead.
No, you're good. As for switching, first year, it's definitely possible. I don't know, Tammy, did you want to elaborate on the?
Yeah, I can also mention that for the next few weeks, the admissions office will take requests to change your major now. So if you feel really strongly about it now, you can log into your TCNJ portal, and there's a form for you to fill out to request to change your major. It's not always possible. You know, some programs have met their capacity, so they might say to hold off until you start, and then you can do what Katya just mentioned about changing your major once you get here. But if you want to ask for it now, go into your portal and fill out the request to change, and they say that they'll get back to you within 3 days.
Okay, let me add something else also here about the faculty. Okay, we have in the department 9 faculty members, and we are from the different parts of the world. You can guess that I'm from India. I have a colleague who is from Poland. I have another colleague from Bulgaria, another colleague from Taiwan, and the rest are, of course, from the United States. And we have a very small class. So typical class is about 20 to 25 students, and upper level class is probably smaller than that. So I know every student in my class. And if you do not come to class, I'll check with them why you're not coming to the class. So you cannot hide from me, okay? So this is one of the advantages. I can tell you some experience because my daughter went to a large school. And if you're cutting classes, nobody bothers about you. But here in our school, we take care of that one, okay? You should not be able to miss classes. And that is probably good for you. But I know that in the first semester, second semester, you always have the tendency to cut classes. But that's a pivotal time for your life. If you miss the first semester, if you get F all classes, your life will be basically doomed. So think about that way, okay?
Yeah, no, those are all good points. We have 2 interesting questions, and Dr. Samantha, maybe you can opine on the first one. The question is it to be on a PhD path, is it BS or BA?
I will prefer that you go through the BA program. Okay, because BA will require you to take probably more economics courses, and plus will advise you to take more math courses also, and plus probably more statistics courses. Okay, in our statistics courses, Nick already know that. So in our econometrics and applied statistics class, we use heavily computer. So we use basically different faculty uses different computer package. So I use in my class what is called SAS. Other colleague uses they call Stata. So that gives you a good training how to use computer to solve statistical problem or how to manipulate the data. And of course, now we are offering something called an MBA program with a data analytics. So if you're interested later on, you can join the school as a specialized data analytics person also.
And I think coming out as a senior, I have now can say in interviews I've mastered probably 3 statistical languages. So Stata, SAS, and LaTeX. And that's just from my experience with different professors during research and during classes. So, and from my interviews, I could tell that they're not used to that on the other side of the table. That's something that I think is very special to TCNJ.
Yeah, and just to extrapolate that notion, I mean, I was mentioning, I alluded it to earlier, but on my day-to-day, I do use the statistical programs that I learned in Dr. Samantha's econometrics class, as well as during my senior thesis experience, where I learned to use, continue to use Stata and a little bit of MATLAB too. So again, a lot of the courses you take in your econ curriculum and any other discipline you decide maybe to study as well, whether it be accounting, marketing, finance, the skill sets you gained are highly applicable to the workforce. And that's really why we see so much success for our graduating students, especially the first years out.
I see we have some more questions on double majors and continued education. So basically the reason why most people choose a BA if they're going on to grad school is because there's more freedom in your courses. So in Bachelor's of Science, it's more business-based. So you're required to take those sort of entry-level business courses like accounting, finance, marketing. In Bachelor's of Arts, you have more freedom in what you want to take. So if you're planning to go to law school, like one of these questions said, you might take courses that law school requires or would look good on a law school application, and you can do that. You have the space in your schedule to do that.
I also see the question about can you request a dual program through the portal? You cannot. You can only request one program at a time when you're first starting in your first semester when you get here. If you'd like to add on either a minor or a major, you can declare that once you get here, and you fill out the form and bring it to the department chair of that area. You can also stop by the dean's office in the School of Business. We're right on the middle of the first floor, and stop in anytime and we'll help you with any kind of process. I think that's it for questions, but keep them coming. You guys are doing great.
So I guess I could speak a little bit about, so I think what I love about economics and what I tell a lot of students on open houses is that you have so much freedom in what you want to do. So some people like Nick and I seem to be going more in the business side of it. So consulting, financial analysis in that sort of way. You could go into government and politics, master's in public policy, law school. You could go into more education, get a PhD, go into being a professor. So really whatever you're interested, you can tweak it to match that. Like Nick was saying, he created his own finance track within the department. So it's a lot of freedom, which is great for people who are interested in economics or politics or government, but they're just not exactly sure what they want to do yet. You figure that out during your time here.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with Katya's notion there. And again, just to re-emphasize the importance of having an economics degree on your resume and just in general, is that, again, the technical skills you gain. I really view economics as the intersection of business, science, and mathematics. Really, you really gain that first principle way of thinking that helps you approach significant issues. And I've seen this in the consulting space already, but you can approach these issues and the skill sets you gain in these courses and thinking about highly complex issues help you break them down to these fundamental truths, right? And that really is so important during your first years, especially in business where you need to perform well on the task, right? So again, I cannot overemphasize the strength of our economics department at TCNJ.
Daniel says, can you explain some of the jobs that some people with a BS in econ have? So we said consulting, which is either financial evaluations, or you could go into more legal consulting. we have people that move on to law school. We have people that move on to economics PhD. Nick, any fellow alum that you know of that went to other places?
Yeah, so a very popular destination for econ majors is at large banks and financial institutions. Dr. Samantha has some of them listed here. I personally know,
Yes.
I think the alum he's referring to for Bank of America and Goldman, actually, they were my mentors when I was a freshman. But we see a lot of economics majors really, and that's the beauty of the program, is it's incredibly versatile, right? So some people might think, okay, I'm an econ major, I'll work at a bank. And yes, that's true. You can work in equity research, investment banking, debt capital markets, equity capital markets, you name it. But that's not just your limit. Really, the sky is the limit. You can work in-house at a company doing financial planning and analysis. You can do tax and transfer pricing or valuation work, or like Katya and I are doing more consulting, but she's maybe more on the legal side, I'm maybe more on the financial services side. So really, there is no cut path. I tend to look at maybe the accounting program. You would see people, generally the notion is that you go to accounting, you earn your CPA, work at a Big Four accounting firm in tax or audit. But really, econ is much more of a comprehensive program where you're not just in one track per se. And I think that's really a plus to it. A lot of people, you tend to see that they change their major throughout their 4 years on campus, but with the econ program, you don't have to change your major. Maybe if you want to go from BA to BS or vice versa, but if you want to add some type of competency, you just take those courses and build it into and package who you are as a job candidate or as a graduate school candidate.
So we have a question about being a transfer student. Tammy, you might know about this. So I'm a transfer student with around 60 credits. Will I be able to talk to an advisor before I schedule classes?
Yeah, so this is a great point to bring up for transfer students as well as for freshman students. Because your very first semester at TCNJ, we're going to make your schedule for you, and then we'll leave room for one class for you to have a say in what you want, because you might have an interest that you just want to try something out. But we're going to make your first semester schedule, and we will share that with you in advance. And then over the summer at orientation, we'll go over that with you. We are still very much hoping that we can have you on campus for orientation this summer, but given the current circumstances, we've been told not to guarantee anything. We might have to do an online environment, but regardless, we'll make sure that we have time to talk with you and make adjustments as needed. So you absolutely have a say, but we also don't just want to throw you out there and say, okay, make your first semester schedule. So we're going to give you a lot of help in that.
And then once you're admitted, you're paired with the faculty advisor, and they're always accessible over email, or hopefully if you guys are in person, knocking at their door, going to office hours as well. So you're not alone once you're in.
So we have a really good question here, and this is something I've seen a lot of students maybe grapple with at first is, do BA and BS majors have the same job opportunities after graduation, or does one offer more than the other? That's really a tricky question. You can't say one offers more than the other. I would say that the programs are designed fundamentally to do two different things. And if you look at the course requirements for the BA versus the BS, I think you'll really see that come to life. Something like I think we were trying to talk about earlier is that the BS program requires a business core, right? So you'll be taking your 2 accounting classes, you'll be taking marketing and management introductory courses, strategic management, supply chain, and onward, whereas those classes are not required in the BA program. So your BA program, what you're doing is you're taking your economics core fundamental classes, but typically we're seeing students pair it with either a minor like comp sci or mathematics, or 2 minors or a double major, whereas the BS program, which is the economics program, but predicated on the business core program of those accounting and marketing and so on classes. So your BS program tailors you to have the skill sets that are needed in the current work environment, right? But that's not to say that the BS program offers you more versus the BA out of the gate. It just sets you up for 2 different things, grad school versus immediate job attainment in the workforce.
I see the question about when is orientation. Typically orientation takes place in July. You'll receive more towards the end of May as we know when we'll actually be offering things this summer.
I would love to hear from you guys too. So what made you pick economics or what makes you interested in economics might help out some of your fellow prospective students as well. I know for me, I took an AP class in high school of AP economics. And I was like, wait, I kind of like this. So I just went for it. And 4 years later, I'm happy with my choice. But I know it's not as clear cut for some, like Nick spoke about how he switched. So yeah, what sparked your interest in economics? Yeah, AP macro.
AP macro.
I'll do it to you. If you like it after AP macro, you know that you're in for it.
Yeah. That's the weed out test. We'd also be happy to take questions about student life too, if you're interested in anything. Yeah, versatility of the major. Yeah, like Katya and I had mentioned earlier, I mean, your end goal is really what you make of it. And I think that's actually something we should probably highlight is that, you know, irrespective of where you go, or maybe just like backtrack. When I was in college, I was in the ambassador program. So we gave a lot of tours on campus. Chances are if you were on a tour last spring or earlier, I might have met you already, which is funny. But one thing we like to highlight is that irrespective of where you go, what you get out of college is what you make of it, right? So like you see in Katya's case, she was very eager out of the bat, securing an internship and really trying to figure out what she wanted to do, what she wanted to extract from her program. And really all of that was made possible by the fact that she was eager to explore different avenues. So, I mean, I guess the point I'm trying to get at is that with the econ program, right, TCNJ, their School of Business, provides you with all of the opportunities to make it happen, to convert that dream into reality. And so really wherever you want to take it, whatever you want to do with it, it's ultimately in your court. So it's an extremely versatile major. Like we were saying, you can work in consulting, you can go to grad school, you can be a lawyer, you can work at a company, you can go to medical school. I mean, it's ultimately up to you. And that applies to anywhere you go. But TCNJ, in providing us with the resources to make it happen, is what really defines this college and defines our School of Business.
I think I've heard some questions about people being concerned about sort of the stigma of econ, of it being very difficult. But I could tell you that TCNJ equips you with all the resources you could need. So every professor has office hours. They know who you are. It's not like you're intimidated to knock on the door and meet them for the first time. You already have that one-on-one connection. So you could go and ask any questions you want. They're thrilled to help you in any way they can. We have the tutoring center where you have weekly tutoring sessions for any courses you need. They match you with a peer that have had your same professor and your same class. And I loved the tutoring center. I was both a tutor and a tutee for a lot of the upper level econ classes. It's just great to have someone to bounce your ideas off of and just work through things out loud with someone who has already gone through it. And then we have the peer mentor program where you're matched with a peer mentor that can help you with your classes, help you with figuring out your career, basically just have someone who's been through it already and can help guide you if you need that.
Yeah, Katya, you bring up a great point. And I saw earlier Tammy had mentioned there were 27 students on average per class, right? So we have like a 13-to-1 student-faculty ratio. And when you're looking at these colleges, right, like the goal here is not to hard sell TCNJ, right? It's to provide you with the information to make the best decision possible. And when you're looking at other colleges and other universities, one thing to take in is that will you be sitting in a large lecture hall where you'll easily fade into the background if you have 200 to 300 student introductory courses, or will you be seated in a 20 to 30 student classroom where the attention will be on you and professors will get to know you after the first few weeks. I cannot emphasize enough how important it is that TCNJ has this small average class size and the great student-faculty ratio. Because even your first year in the job, or if you go to law school or wherever, you'll be expected to have a grasp of the material and to be able to present it in a concise and effective manner, right? And I can't imagine how else you'd be able to do that unless you're in a classroom that is conducive to that learning structure, right? So if you come to TCNJ, or if you've seen that the classrooms are smaller, though maybe they're more round table. We don't have large lecture halls, and that's really something that's paramount. And that's another added competency, like Katya said, is that you get to know your professors, they find mutual interest with you, and that relationship sort of just cascades down the road where they'll think of you if they need help or if they have a connection in the workforce. And I can't imagine getting that at another large university where you have so many other students in your classes.
I've been doing a couple of these webinars this week. A question that's come up that hasn't come up yet in this session was any computer recommendations. People have been debating, buying a new computer for college, and they're looking at, Windows or Apple, but or any software programs. So if you guys could speak to that as students, what did you find most useful?
So all 4 years I've had a Mac laptop and it's worked fine. I think a benefit is TCNJ has a VMware option where you can access any of the programs on your TCNJ school computer on your laptop. So whether you have a Mac or a Windows, it doesn't matter. You can run these packages. So if you need SAS, like exactly works great for right now. It's like they thought ahead where we can't access our statistical packages. So I would be really out of luck with my thesis. I would have to pay for the programs, I guess. But because we have this software, I can just log in with my TCNJ ID, access data or SAS, and even your H drive. So whatever documents you have saved, you can access on it. So I really wouldn't be too worried about not being able to run certain softwares on the Mac because you always have that VMware option.
Well, let me add something here also, because I'm quite novice about the computer thing, but I found that I have a Surface. I found that I can use the Surface for computing plus whiteboard. I can write anything there also. Because I'm teaching the online course right now. Now I'm using the Surface to write the thing on the whiteboard and the student can see that one. So that's extra benefit that I can see for the student. So yeah. If you want to buy Surface, okay.
He doesn't work for Microsoft, I promise you. Paid for that. Yeah, I mean, Katya, you bring up a great point about those resources being available. I can't imagine right now not having access to SAS or Stata. That's not something I had to go through, but to see that you can still complete your work with the programs that TCNJ has is awesome. Maybe I could talk on like the alumni side. I too had a Mac in college, and I have to say toward like the end, I was starting to get tired of it because a lot of the Excel programs and maybe financial modeling courses just seem more intuitive to me on a PC. I will say in the consulting and professional services and financial services space, we use PCs, right? We use Excel on a PC and we use statistical programs on a PC. That's not to say that having a Mac is bad, but maybe if you're looking to buy a new device and you want to be more accustomed to Excel on a PC versus a Mac, maybe now's a great time to start that. I still can't use Excel on a Mac. I feel like a grandpa every time I try to use it, but it just seems so much more natural and fluid on a PC to me. That's from working in professional services. That's what we just live by, is that.
You both mentioned peer mentors, but aside from that, what else were you involved in on campus?
Yeah, Katya, do you want to go first?
Sure. So on campus, I was a tutor for all 4 years of college. I worked as research assistant with economics professors. I'm also in a sorority, unrelated to economics, but definitely related to campus life. And so through the sorority, I held a leadership position as vice president of finance. So definitely, I totally recommend branching out and making those college experiences and connections now.
Yeah, really, I mean, college, like I was saying earlier, is all you make of it, right? And at TCNJ, it's so conducive to you getting involved on campus. We have, 200 to 300 different organizations, and if it doesn't exist, you can create it, which I think is awesome, right? You just need some faculty to sponsor it, and it's created. In college, I was a college ambassador for all 4 years, so that was what I spent most of my time doing. I was a senior leader in that my senior year. So we gave a lot of tours. We were the liaison between admissions and prospective students and faculty. Like we mentioned earlier, I was in Peer Mentors, where I worked a lot with Katya and Tammy on the sort of professional development side of once we have our students, we help them develop and grow. And that was really impactful on me and throughout my 4 years, and not only being a mentee, but a mentor as well. And I was also in a part of Welcome Week, where your first week on campus, you sort of acclimate into the new college environment, right? So you move in a week before everyone else starts, and you sort of get used to living on campus and finding where all your buildings and getting to know different people. So really, I got to see the whole student life cycle of like recruiting them, like helping them adjust, and then helping them professionally develop. But that was really like, when I look back, it's like, it's those moments, in addition to the academic part for sure, but it's those moments where I got involved and I got to meet people like Katya and Tammy outside of the classroom, but also with Dr. Samantha in the classroom, that really defined my college experience for sure.
Thank you both. We generally reserve an hour for these discussions, so we're coming down to the last 8 minutes or so. We've been asking if everyone's okay to share their email, if you welcome any emails. So if you want to type that in the chat box for anybody to copy down, that's nice. Or if you even want to share, your LinkedIn. I think right now we can't really see your full names, but that's one other way to connect, because sometimes as soon as you hang up from one of these things is when okay. Yeah, you can all connect with each other too. As soon as you hang up from one of these webinars, sometimes is when you think of the question that you wish that you would have asked.
I'll also throw my email in
Yeah.
I'm sure
Thank
Nick
you.
is more than happy to as well. Any questions, we're here for you.
If anyone wants to start networking at KPMG.
Never pass up a networking offer. You guys are an amazing resource for each other.
Thank you, Nick, very, very much. I really appreciate it. You're really nice to me. Very good.
Yeah, hey, anytime. You made me who I am, so that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, you feel good when you see the students are doing for you. I really appreciate it. Yes, very good.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, like Katya was saying, like the econ program, it's challenging, right? But all of the reward is embedded in that challenge at the end of the day, right? So you make what you want of it.
And not to mention, you have a great support system of economics majors. I have a group chat of maybe most of the economics majors in my grade.
Yeah.
And like, you wouldn't believe the stuff in it. They're genuinely interested in economic ideas. We'll throw in like a Wall Street Journal article and be like, thoughts? It's really nice to have that collegiate environment where you're all goal-oriented and working towards, and you care about these things, and it inspires you to be better. I'm inspired all the time by my peers and alum like Nick, and I think being surrounded by people like that is a really great thing.
Does anyone have any last questions? No? Okay. Well, I really hope this was helpful. I know some of you are still making that final decision, that you have until May 1st to debate if you're between us and another school. You've got plenty of contacts now, so please reach out to anybody and everybody to get any information you need. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much to our alumni, to our current student, Nick and Katya. Thank you, Dr. Samantha.
Okay.
I know you're busy teaching classes, but you made time to be here tonight, which is fantastic. And we really wish that everyone's staying safe and well, and we can't wait to see you on campus. So just want to wish everyone a good night. Thanks for joining us.
Okay, Nick.
Thank you.
Okay, so when you come next time in the, no, everything is closed. What can you do?